so the main purpose of the program is to take a student, undergraduate student, and prepare him for a career in data science. And when I say prepare for a career in data science, I mean for the most demanding roles. So even if you will maybe continue your career as a researcher, or you want to be a data science lead, or you just want to be a business analyst or a machine learning engineer, we want to give you all the foundations that you will be competent at any of those jobs. Of course, you will have to do a lot of work afterwards, but the purpose of this program is to build that very strong foundation. To achieve that, the program is a bit more intense than your average master's program, but hopefully also rewarding. But that's not for me to say, that's maybe for our current and former students to say. The curriculum itself, you can basically divide it into three major parts. The sort of darker red are the courses that are more practical or related with industry. So you start with the Introduction to Data Science course, where we go on just from a tools perspective through all the major parts of the data science process. And we have lectures from industry. In the second semester of the first year, you work on a project. So in your one course is just working on a project from one of our partner companies. And then in the second year, 4 courses worth is the master's program. So some of you will have a more academic master's, some of you will have a more practical master's. Many decide to take their project course and then expand it into a master's thesis. Okay, so that's the more hands-on practical part, so that you're also in touch with industry. The bright red part, which usually signals danger in nature as well, is the mathematical core. So we go through mathematics, optimization, probability, statistics, and machine learning at a very fundamental level, so that you're able to not just use methods, but also understand what's going on and implement those methods. And the third part is the elective part. In the first year, you get to choose a master's module from one of the computer science master's modules. And in the second year, you get to pick courses from a list of data science courses, which range from biometrics to bioinformatics to AI, text mining, vision, computer vision. So there are about 10 really good data science related courses. And you have to pick 2 out of 4 courses, which are the core data science courses. We have big data, deep learning, advanced statistics, and machine learning 2, which is a more research-oriented course. But of course, you can pick all 4, and a lot of students do. That's pretty much the curriculum. I'm pretty sure you'll have questions later. And at this point, what is probably the most important if you're considering enrolling, the enrollment procedure is the same as for the computer science masters, so you have to enroll before August. We have 18 spots for Slovenian EU students. We have 8 spots for non-Slovenian, non-EU students. If there'll be more students applied than we have spots, we'll have the entrance exam. It's the exact same entrance exam as for the computer science program, so you have to only take 1 exam, but it's graded separately. So an important thing to note here is that if you're considering enrolling in computer science and maybe data science as your backup, or data science as computer science as your backup, you should just list the one that you're interested in more first. And if you're not accepted to that one, you'll be and accepted to the next one, you will be. Yeah? But you will be, if you're accepted to your first choice, you will no longer have a choice later on. Yeah? So it's important to apply in terms of your priorities. The exam itself is mostly programming and algorithms and data structures and mathematics. There's a bit of maybe 20% of more computer science, computer architecture, informatics questions. So that's the focus, and it's also the focus of the master's program. So we expect students to have a good background in programming and also a good background in mathematics. Of course, everyone's different, and there are also plenty of examples of students that maybe had a weaker undergraduate education in both. But if you're willing to put in the work, you can pretty much finish the program and even get more out of it because you had a different starting point. Okay, so I'll conclude with that, and I'm looking forward to your questions. You mean in terms of enrollment, how many? Yeah, okay. So we have now 4 years of experience. For the way things are going now, for the Slovenian part, we only 1 year had more than 18 students. So usually there was no entrance exam. For foreign students, I would say that now we are at a point where there will always be an entrance exam. If you ask me, I also hope that at some point we'll be at the same level for the Slovenian students, that we'll have an entrance exam and we'll have a cutoff. But the way things are now, it's anybody's guess, yeah, what's going to happen this year. But a question that I also often get is, what kind of a GPA and performance on an entrance exam do I have to be reasonably sure that I get accepted? And I would say doing, let's say, 4 points or 5 points out of 8 on the entrance exam and having a GPA of 8.5 or 8, I would be very surprised if that is not enough. But I would be, of course, thrilled if it's not. But yeah, from your perspective, you know, I think it should be enough. Yeah.
Can we get any information how many people already applied for this year?
No, it's actually, I think, impossible to. That's not public information. I think maybe at any point, but definitely not.
Because when I applied for it, I had some problem with my application, and I got a message back from someone who told me to fix some things, and that's why I thought that maybe you have that information.
No. It's some people. Of course, some people have that information, but it's not something that we would be able to share publicly. And you don't really know. Applications to the master's programs are similar to submissions of homework, so you get most of them at the very end. Yeah. So we have a question from YouTube.
Yes, we have a question from online. Do you find that university study program in computer and information science gives a good background for this program?
So an undergraduate program, does an undergraduate program in computer science give a good enough starting point for the data science masters? I mean, if I take the example of the computer science program here at the University of Ljubljana, from my experience, people that finish that program are very competent programmers usually, and very good at IT in general, very technically sound. Maybe not so much in mathematics, so I would say definitely yes. But a typical student would probably have to expect that they'll have to catch up in the mathematics part, typically. Yeah, but of course it varies from student to student. But I see no reason why a computer science student would not do well in this program. Yeah.
How about financial mathematics from the Faculty of Mathematics and Physics?
Yes. I will just summarize. Anything that comes from the Faculty of Mathematics and Physics, we usually like. So, it is one of our goals to have a more varied set of students. And mathematics students, physics students, financial mathematics students are very suitable. I would say that they're slightly, the opposite of computer science students, very strong in the mathematical part, but maybe have to catch up a bit on the, maybe just the day-to-day programming, but yes, definitely students that are kindly invited to apply for our master's program. Okay, I'm pretty sure that you have some questions for our current and former students, so I'll maybe just, we have one more question.
Are there excellence merit scholarships available?
Unfortunately, the program itself does not offer anything. There might be some other opportunities that have nothing to do with the program, but yeah, the program itself does not offer anything. I would emphasize that there is no tuition for Slovenian students, for EU students, and I think most students from the neighboring countries, especially the former Yugoslavian, yeah. So,
what are notable industry partners?
Okay, so if you're not from Slovenia, then maybe Siemens will be the one that pops up. If you're from Slovenia, I would say we are collaborating with some very well-known companies in these circles that have data science or data warehousing as a service. I mean, they're providing as a service, so we have Insight, we have Crea Pro, we have Medius. We also collaborate with, well, formerly Zemanta, now Outbrain, Garex, so there are quite a few.
Next question is, what programming languages do you use?
Yes, so the emphasis is on two languages. So we want a graduate of the data science program to be fluent in R and Python. There are some more specific languages used by certain courses, maybe TensorFlow if you're going more into machine learning, or Pyro, PyTorch, maybe Stan if you're more into Bayesian statistics. But the two that we really emphasize are Python and R. Yeah, so I have a strong opinion on this, that every competent professional data scientist should know these two languages.
Why should someone choose data science program over basic computer science masters with machine learning related models at free?
Yeah, so the major difference is, okay, if we're talking about a student that's decided that machine learning is their interest, or data science, I would strongly recommend the data science masters over the computer science masters, which has other advantages, but getting an education in data science is not one of them compared to the data science masters. The main reason is that some of the core courses are not accessible to non-data science students, but I would say the major reason is that the data science program was built from scratch, and there's a flow through the program. So in some of the advanced courses, you can expect students to know certain things, although often they don't remember them anymore. But so the course is built on top of each other. So it's a more holistic approach. And I'm absolutely certain that that gives you a better education than just having completely independent courses. I would add, however, if you're interested in data science or maybe do not want to put as much time into it, or maybe you're not accepted, I mean, that might happen to some, but you're still interested in this, enrolling in the computer science masters and taking some of the courses that you can, that are available to you from the data science masters. Like, you can still participate in the project competition, you can pick the deep learning course, you can pick the big data course. I would definitely recommend that, yeah. But the advantage is here that it's structured, so we know we have you for 8 to 10 courses and everything is synchronized.
What are the possibilities for combining the program with an Erasmus exchange at some point?
Yeah, so the rule of thumb here is don't go on exchange for the first year. There are so many compulsory courses in the first year that you really should plan for going in the second year. Other than that, we've had quite a few exchanges, and yeah, we don't complicate. Usually, you can use those credits for the elective courses you would have here. We also have, I think, one example of somebody going on an exchange in the first year, but the way it was communicated, then you can expect to extend your master's for another year, because not having the first semester or second semester courses, you cannot really take the advanced courses, or it would be really counterproductive. Yeah, so. Okay, so I'll take a short break and I'll ask the audience, or maybe the ones watching us on YouTube, to have questions for our students. We have here 2 first-year students, we have 1 second-year student, and 1 former student. All of them very good students. I'm very happy with them. So let's see what they think about us.
Okay. So, okay. Maybe we can start with introducing ourselves. So, yeah. Okay, I can start. So my name is Greta. I'm a student from the first generation of data science, so I already finished. I'm here today to maybe navigate this conversation a bit better, but our current students will be the ones providing you the most up-to-date information. So I suggest that we get to know them first. So maybe we can start with Martin, and you can introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself. Sure. From what is your background, why did you decide to pick data science studies, and maybe what interests you most in this field.
Sure. First, hi to you all. I'm Martin. I'm a second-year data science student. I came here from not from a mathematical or computer science background. I came from biochemistry, so it was quite a rough ride going into the field of full of computer science and mathematics. But I'm still here, so anyone can do it. But I warn you, I mean, it's going to be quite a lot of work. So yeah, I'm probably going to be the one addressing the questions about the advanced stuff and maybe what career options you can take from here, the master's thesis and stuff. But yeah, that's it.
Hi, I'm Maya, and this is not statistically representative, but we're both from biochemistry. So I'm a first-year student, so I can answer questions about just the first year. I have little knowledge about the second year. But yeah, I am someone who came here from, like, I had a weaker background in mathematics and programming, and I currently don't have much struggle with this program, so I think anyone can do it if they try hard enough. And yeah, thank you.
What made you pick this studies, maybe?
So when I was studying biochemistry, we had certain courses in programming and also in mathematics, and we had bioinformatics. Mm-hmm. And those were the courses that interested me the most. And I also saw that I'm more interested in data analysis of biochemical data more than wet lab work. So I actually got a job in bioinformatics lab in a research institute, and there I actually so there I became acquainted with statistical methods and data science peers. So that convinced me to enroll in this program.
Oh, so data science is everywhere, yeah. if you look for it, or if you don't.
Hi, I'm Clement. I'm also a first-year student here at Data Science. I came from the Computer Science University program here at FREE, so if you have any specific questions about the transition, you can ask. I chose this program because I picked the AI module in the undergrad studies, and I think it's just a great continuation if you're into learning from data and just trying to steer companies by data. I think this is a great program.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for introducing yourself. Do we have any questions at this point from the audience?
I have one. So are all the courses in English or in Slovenian?
Do you want to answer
Maybe
that?
I can take that. So all courses should be in English. There are some lecturers that will lecture in Slovene, but usually if someone says they want in English, they will just do it in English. So I would say that all the reports are written in English and you're doing everything in English.
Yeah.
Maybe I can add to that. So all the mandatory courses and all the core elective courses, so the ones that you have to take, are in English. The exception is that some courses in some modules might be 50-50, or there might be some, but in principle, everything that's native to this program is in English.
Okay. We have a question from YouTube.
Yes. Which subjects, mathematics, programming, and so on, should we focus on more or review before starting the data science courses?
Okay, that's a good question. Maybe Eric already addressed this a little bit, that it probably depends on your background. So maybe, I don't know, what do you think, Maya? Did you have to programming more?
I think on data science website you have some literature that is recommended to review before enrollment. So I think that's a good starting point. But yeah, those were this was the literature that I reviewed, and it was enough. But I still struggled at the start, but yeah, I think it's good now.
I might add that knowing Python and R enough so that you can focus on on the theoretical stuff is important. Also, knowing Git and stuff, so you can push your push to the repository, work with that as if it was just a tool in a toolbox. And if you're not familiar with this stuff, you might want to kind of get to know them before enrolling. But for the mathematical part, you're going to have to study the books in the recommended section of data science course, because all the topics in there are also applicable to the entrance exam. So as far as I know, the most difficult part in the entrance exam is mathematics. So if you study the mathematics for the entrance exam, pass it, then you won't have any problems, at least for the first semester. Problems.
Maybe I can add, so if you have a computer science background, I would definitely pinpoint your work on statistics and linear algebra. I think that's the stuff that I needed to do the most catching up. But you should know at least some Python so that you are able to write basic programs, because I'm having a tough time remembering any course that didn't have any programming in it. So you will be expected to program at basically every course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The intensity of AI module in undergraduate, how intense is the data science?
It's more intense, definitely. So I had the AI module in undergrad. Maybe I can give you a concrete example. So for this semester, from the second week of October, basically to the end, you're having 5 projects per week. 4 to 5, that's how it is.
It's fun.
But those projects, you usually have 2 weeks to complete them. They're just in a pipeline. So, I mean, you're always working on something. You always have something on the back burner, and you can always complain to your colleagues about something.
We had a question here first.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the mathematics part.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I see it now on AI model in my 3rd year, we don't actually use a lot of mathematics that we learned in, I don't know, 1st, 2nd year on mathematical modeling in AI courses. Like we use, I don't know, PCA or derivatives or something like that. So I'm interested in what percentage of mathematics and statistics you learned in mathematics courses you actually use in some machine learning courses or data science courses. Like, is it just like implemented that you use that mathematics and statistics in that mathematics courses, or you actually use it later in some more programming or more machine learning oriented courses?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good question. I will repeat it for YouTube. So it was the question was like how much of the mathematics that we actually learn we then actually apply in some machine learning courses, right? Yeah. Okay. I think that the difference is here mostly that at the undergraduate you have it very separate. Like you do the mathematical course, it's theory, and then you advance to some other course, and they are mostly like isolated entities. It's good if you know something, but you know. But here, like Eric said in the beginning, everything is very structured and everything is connecting. So when you have the theoretical background, then it is expected that you use it in like actually programming setting as well. So even the mathematical courses, like maybe you can share now when you have mathematics 2, like all the background when you're learning about optimization, you have to implement it. It's not that you just learn about it and you know the equation. No. Homework is actually consisting out of like tasks that you have to program in order to get a solution. And then when you have machine learning for data science, it's also like all the mathematics, all the like matrix operations, linear algebra, everything that you learned maybe in the first semester, then you apply because you have to implement all the machine learning algorithms from scratch. And if you don't understand what is happening there, then you can't program it. So it's very hands-on, I think, the theory that you learn. But you can
I would also add
chime
that
in.
the best thing you gain out of the mathematics part is the terminology, because let's say you're given a random forest to implement, which is one of the assignments you get. You'll usually get an article that wants you to implement it in a certain way. Usually that will be from the original authors of the random forest. And you'll have a tough time reading that article if you just look at the first paragraph and then I know you see in there something called L. Lipschitz and you don't know what that is. So that it allows you to read the articles more fluently, I guess.
Yeah, do you have anything to add here? Or
I would just add, sorry.
We're gonna remember which questions.
Yeah. I would just add that even the details that you deem unimportant in the first semester, like Kronecker product, will be something you will very likely implement in some of the machine learning stuff. So yeah.
Okay, there was a question there, I think.
Just maybe add,
Sorry.
So there are many levels at which you can understand mathematics as it applies to data science. And as they've already pointed out, the most important one and something that we really like everyone to get from this program is to be able to express yourself precisely through mathematics, to read it, to express yourself, that you not go with just approximate, mean that, you go Kronecker product, you go probability, you go measure, you go, so that you're very fluent at talking, communicating, and reading stuff. The other level that some students aspire to, some not, but that makes sense because some of them will want to have a career in developing the methodology, some will not, is also to be able to then with that terminology and develop new stuff or modify stuff. Yeah. But definitely that we know how to implement it as well. So yeah, but the most important thing is that you don't learn mathematics as something separate, but as a language that you will use to express yourself more precisely.
Okay.
Thank you.
When you do that part-time job, is there no time for that?
Okay. So the question was if any of the students have part-time jobs.
I do. So you can work alongside. You just have to be a little bit careful. It depends on the job. You have to have a lot of job flexibility. So I pretty much have the best case scenario because I work here in a lab. And when I say that I won't be able to work for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they don't have a problem with that. But if you'll have a job where they require you to work 4 hours every day, you won't be able to do it. It's just too much work. That's what you're asking.
Yeah, I don't have a part-time job. So, and I still, I think I work for this program like 8 hours a day, for example, like roughly. So you can just like evaluate how much. For example, are you from mathematics? Yeah. So I don't have that much knowledge there, so that's why I take longer to complete some tasks. But yeah, maybe you could do it. Yeah.
Attendance mandatory on every lecture.
I think it's similar to what is the rule here at the university. It's nothing special. If there is there a professor that demands? No.
Not that I.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, so it's not mandatory, but I think you would miss out if you don't go. Yeah.
I can share maybe some broader experience. I have some broader experience because I've seen now 4 generations of students. When it comes to other work, the rule of thumb is yes, like you said, if you have a very flexible job which allows you to put your studies first, you can do it. If it's a part-time job where you are that restricts you, you can probably add another year to your studies. Yeah, if you're, but you can expect. It's not maybe not even the amount of workload, but the focus it takes away from you. The focus that you have for. I mean, you can agree or disagree with that, but I think that's the most important thing. Yeah, that especially some courses require a lot of focus.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a question there.
About those projects, how are they distributed? Are they larger, smaller, and of distribution on team projects, or they are mostly individual?
Okay, so the question was about projects in terms of their size and how many people are on project. Yeah. So, Martin, do you want to answer that one?
I don't actually remember most of the projects because there were so much of them, so many of them. But yeah, most projects are done individually, as I remember. The only team project you're doing is the actual project, the project competition, and that one's quite a big one. You get 6 credits for it. It takes around 180 hours, something like that. But most of us just worked maybe more than that. I mean, it's just something that you actually kind of indulge yourself into.
This is a course, right?
Yeah.
So project competition
that's
is
basically
actually a course. So it's a course that is structured in a way that you get a topic from one of the industry partners and then you work on it. So it's very hands-on, and I think it's fun. Huh?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
and some teams are also in modules. So, for example, in those like courses that are also shared with computer and information science programs. So that's where we're working in teams most, and at project competition course. Yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of sizes, sometimes there are homeworks that are just like you have 2 weeks to complete it, and you need to produce some code and a 1-page report. Maybe with bigger projects, you have longer to complete, and then you have a 2- or 4-page report, let's say.
I would add, so there is another bigger project where you work in teams. So as part, if you take the Machine Learning for Data Science 2 course, which is more research-oriented, every year now we participate in the reproducibility challenge, where you work in a team, 2 to 3 people. We encourage actually for more of you to work together on reproducing one of the latest state-of-the-art works published at major conferences. So that's like a half a course worth of a project where you are encouraged to work in teams.
Okay. Yeah.
Are there any specific hardware requirements for the course? Because the undergrad course can be done with a pretty rudimentary computer. Is it still the case for the data science course, or do you need an upgrade?
Okay, the question was about hardware requirements for this course. Clement, do you want to address it?
Yeah, you will be fine. I mean, most, like 99% of the projects you do are not deep models, so that will run on any computer. Only if your program is bad, then it won't run at all. But for the courses that do require some training of the deeper modules, you will get access to the computers in the lab or in Sling, so you will have hardware. That won't be an issue.
Yeah, so definitely I don't think you have to worry about hardware. So.
I can say I have Acer Swift 3, 1.8 gigahertz of processor, and I'm still going through it, and I'll probably change it after my master's thesis. So that's a commitment I made, so I think you can do it as well.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have one about the Erasmus exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So is the list of universities exactly the same as for the undergraduate program, or can we pick from some additional ones?
Okay, so the question was about The question was about about Erasmus exchanges. So, if the list of the universities is the same, maybe Vesna is here a good person to answer, because she's responsible for that here. Yeah.
The list of partner universities is the same. You should only check which partner university offers undergraduate and which master's student exchanges. That's the only.
And maybe one additional thing, because I was also planning to go to an exchange, but then COVID happened, but still I had to go through the process. You have to check that the university where you're going is actually offering some data science courses, because we have many partners that are some are maybe like more hardware-oriented universities or software-oriented, so you have to go somewhere where they at least have some AI/data science courses. So you can, because you need to match the courses, right, that we have here.
You don't have to match. We don't complicate too much. One of the restrictions is, of course, if you take one semester in the second year, then that forces you to take the 2 core courses, or the 4 you have to take in the other semester. So you're kind of electing courses here as well. Other than that, we are only. It has to be at least somewhat related to data science, and we don't want you to pick courses where the content is obviously overlapping with something that you've already done here or will do here. Other than that, if it like smells a bit like data science, it's okay.
Okay. Question here?
I have another question about like research work. Do people from data science like have some benefits regarding the research work in the labs on the faculty, and also like do students of the data science program got offered like some collaboration opportunities, not like Erasmus ones, but I don't know, to go for a week or two to some partner university or to some summer schools, such as that I don't know, AI summer school at the faculty?
Mm-hmm.
Do data science students have some beneficial benefits about that, like I don't know, free participation or something like that?
Okay, so the question was about data science students, if they have any advantage in terms of collaboration with labs or going research, going to conferences and things like that. Well, I can tell that there were times that like some conferences reach out to the data science initiative, and sometimes we have some tickets that we can offer to data science students that are usually not free to students or like that, so that's nice. Then when it comes to working in a lab, do you feel that you said it that you're working in a lab?
So I don't research in a lab. I just work for the companies that come to us with the problem, so I can't really comment on research. But I think that at least on the theoretical side, you'll have a lot of experience just writing reports and presenting your data and actually communicating, because that's a big portion of this program.
Yeah. And if you're interested in research, I mean, even in project competitions, there are usually some research topics as well, right? So I think there is plenty of opportunities for that. But if you're just interested in going abroad or something, then it's also this Erasmus internship options, which is available to everyone. But for example, I took this option, so I applied, I got accepted, but then it's up to you that you find where you want to go. So you can find either a company abroad, or you can connect with some research lab abroad at some other universities, and then you can receive an Erasmus scholarship for that and go there, for example, and do some research. And I'm sure that if you're a data science student and want to do data science things, that is an advantage probably. And I mean, professors are very well connected, I think, as well internationally. So if you reach out to someone about a topic that you're interested in, maybe they can connect you. And yeah, Eric, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I would maybe add. So a lot of things have already been pointed out. Yeah, so we do. So one thing is we have a very tight collaboration with industry. So and also conferences in this area. So there are a lot of opportunities, like extra tickets to go somewhere. Out of these collaborations with industry, I would say that a very large proportion of our students continue that collaboration with industry, with their masters, and even get employed there. So I would say maybe even 1/3 of the students that graduate. Most of the rest go to study abroad. So one thing that you'll be able to collaborate with a lot of very good experts in research. So also a large proportion of students that finish their masters here already have a publication or a publication on the way, like disproportionate large number, I would say maybe a quarter or a third. So apparently, I mean, a lot of opportunities arise, even if it's not planned. We organize a lot of workshops, a lot of other events for data science students. there is always something I think that students maybe do not take advantage of enough, is that we organize workshops on students' requests. So if data science students come to me and say, I want a workshop on this topic, we organize it. Last year we also, our students did really well in the reproducibility challenge, and then they got invited to go to NIPS, to the US, for the conference, and we put quite a bit of effort into helping them finance that trip. So I would like to thank the companies that are supporting this, but thanks to them we have a budget and we're always able to do stuff. So currently the bigger problem is coming up with ideas and encouraging the students to share what they want, but we can do a lot of things. Yeah.
We have a question from YouTube.
Which course from data science program is the hardest in your opinion?
Okay, let's do a round. Start with Martin. Which course is the hardest?
Yeah, probably Principles of Uncertainty, first semester, first year. But it's the most fundamental. So if you grab the knowledge that Eric's trying to put forward, you'll be good to go for the next 2 years.
I think that's a popular answer, and it's true that it's really hard. But I would also say maybe, for me at least, machine learning for data science 1 also, because we have such a big workload that I'm only working on that, I think, like through all the semester. If I think back, I'm just like thinking about projects from that course. So yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, I have to agree with Martin. I would also say Principles of Uncertainty.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know that makes Eric very happy, but I think I would have to agree here as well. Another question?
For the students from biochemistry, what was your programming knowledge before enrolling, especially in Python?
Okay, Maya, do you
Yeah,
want to start?
so in first year of undergraduate program, we had Principles of Programming here at FREE, which was a mandatory course, and there we learned Python. That was the language of that course. But other than that, when I worked in that bioinformatics lab, I also extended that knowledge. But honestly, I wasn't, I'm not an expert in Python. And I think if you have at least basic understanding of Python, you can get through it, even if you're not an expert in it.
I got through the same start as Maya did, then took a few courses from FREE, like Programming 1, Introduction to Data Science, something like that, and then worked at a company using Python and made my diploma thesis in Python on neural networks. So I got some kind of basic knowledge of Python through that way, but I don't think that knowing Python is the thing that should be kind of your focus, but more of general knowledge of programming, because you can adapt to the language from any language you know, let's say from Java. Because I know that undergrad FREE doesn't program in Python that much, right? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But third year is full of Python.
Python.
Yeah.
True.
I actually also took that Programming 1, so that's the one I forgot. As a non-compulsory course. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Another question?
What are your experiences with the industry through projects and similar for those of you who had it?
What are the experiences with industry through projects? Clement, do you want to?
I mean, so you mean about the project course or?
Any connection you have?
I really think it's great that you have so much industry collaboration here. And honestly, if I could take the project course, so the competition again, I would, if I would have time. What you do here is actually really close to what you do there, but you will have a lot of a lot of focus will be on cleaning the data and pre-preparing it and so on. And here you'll usually get the data clean, and the emphasis would be more on the model. That's most of the time it's like that. But I think that even now I talk with colleagues, and they're already in the talks for employment there because they worked with these companies. So I think it's great.
Yeah, but in terms of contact with industry, we also have a course, Introduction to Data Science, in the first semester, where instead of like lectures on the topics, we get guest lecturers from the industry, and each week another guest lecturer comes and talks about the company and how data science contributes to that company and what are they looking for, like tells about their problems. Yeah, just I think that's a great introduction to the industry side of data science, and I like that much more than if we would have just lectures about the topics that we could just learn at home.
After working for your company at a project, some get employed by the company, so you should be encouraged to work hard on that project. But also you get contacts from people that are able to connect you to other ones. We were working with Insight, for example, and had connections with Striglau, and then we were kind of talking away how we could proceed with our project forward. At the end we didn't, but still we got quite a few connections through that. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Thanks for your answers. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Yeah?
Yes, I have a question about the intensity. You mentioned that you work 8 hours a day, basically, for this course. So, like, taking a weekend off or getting sick is off the limits for the semester.
So we always joke that there are no weekends here, but there are certain periods of time that don't have such a big workload. I think now in May we have this, like, we're biased now because like May is just explosion of workload, but otherwise I still have like sometimes people say that we won't have a social life or something like that. That's not the case. It's just like hard intensity work, but you can still do other things. Like it's not a problem.
Maybe I can add. So in undergrad, if I were free, you had at least a few days where you didn't have any projects if you finished before. Here you constantly have a project you should be working on. Now if that's 3 or 4 projects, it doesn't really matter. But you'll always be working, and the thing is, since the lectures, the number of people here is so small, you'll always be communicating, and that communication, because we all encounter the same problems, really gets you far. So if you're doing this kind of solo and don't ask anyone about anything and don't comment on anything, it'll take you 3 times longer, but if you really connect with your colleagues, you'll get through.
Yeah. This is also one point for why I think you should attend lectures and you should come to the faculty, because the number of accepted students to this master's program is quite small. So usually you know all your classmates, you connect with them, you know them well, you help each other, you know that, okay, this guy knows a little bit more mathematics, maybe he can help me here, but then I can help him there, and it's this collaboration. And I mean, even if you have 3 or 4 projects, like someone does one thing and then they can help you with that, and you were working on the other project and you can help them with that, and in the end it's a lot of, I mean, yeah, like Clemens said, if you are just by yourself, maybe it feels overwhelming, but you have so much support because everyone is in the same situation. So then, yeah, everyone's suffering together, but at the same time learning and progressing a lot. Yeah. So
I would just point out 2 things. One, it's not a bad thing that you have to work hard for this for this master's program, because I think that this is the only time in your life that you're going to be studying hard. Honestly, because yeah, once you get a job, you probably will work I don't know, 9 to 5, and that's gonna be it, right? So yeah, you can really delve into some specific things that you won't be able to after that. You won't have time, you won't have focus, but now you have. And also attending lectures is important, like Greta said, because what I see now in the second year is that most of us who attended lectures are now in the second year. So, but the ones that didn't, well, they got stuck on a project or another. So yeah.
Yeah. We had a question from YouTube.
Did you create your own products that are currently state of the industry, and why?
Can you please repeat?
Did you create your own products that are currently state of the industry? If you created your own product, who is now like working in the industry as well?
In a project, if we created something in the project that is now used in industry, or very interesting question.
I would maybe comment on that. Most of the projects are meant for education, so you're not developing something new, something state of the art, but through the projects you're actually working on solutions for the companies, which then take up on your ideas and develop them further. It's called feasibility study in most of the development cycles, and that's basically what you're doing at a project. You're a cheap labor to experiment with stuff. So that's how you should approach project competition as well. And yeah, for our example, Triglav actually took the things that we were working on and now hopefully develops them further. So yeah, you can get through your ideas through to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
I would add that every year there are a couple of examples from project competition where the thing gets used, and like sometimes even directly in production. And there are definitely examples where students achieve some academic something that's published and could be considered at that point that it moves the state of the art. Yeah, so there are some examples that every year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there another question?
Did any of you try training GPT for fun?
From scratch? Okay, the question was if any of us tried training GPT for fun. Who wants to take that?
I have an Acer with 1.8.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's a no. But is anyone using it as a study companion? Maybe that's a good question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, why wouldn't we?
Okay. Another question?
Would you say that the data science job market is oversaturated these days or not?
So the question is if the data science market is oversaturated.
I can answer from the background here, if I may, because I would dare say that I have a very strong overview of these things. If you're a good data scientist, machine learning engineer, the market will never be saturated. There is such a demand for people that can do this job that it's incredible. So, and in the next few, probably 10 years, I do not foresee any change. At some point, the market might be saturated for people that think they can do data science, but for people that know how to do it, no.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Another question?
Where can we find more details about the syllabus of the course?
Okay, so
on the website?
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, so a lot of information is on the website. There's a brochure. There are brief descriptions of the courses. You can even find the more detailed descriptions of the courses on the free master's website, or just email us at DataScience if you have any very specific questions, and we'll be answering you in at least a day, no more than a day. So, but yeah, the DataScience website is the probably the starting point for any of those questions.
Maybe I can add, there is an old, the current e-classroom is open, so you can just enroll into the subjects if you want to know more about them, and you'll usually see the exact assignments we get and what are the slides, for example, and so on. So you can check there.
Another question?
How was the transition to studying in English?
How was the transition to study in English?
I had the most fun studying mathematics, because I had to translate everything from Slovene to English, and it took me a month to translate eigenvalues into lastna vrednost, which I'm now proudly can say that I know the difference. There is none. So yeah, but other courses are you get the knowledge from other courses from scratch, so you don't actually have to translate anything. But yeah, writing reports with maybe with Grammarly can help, but other than that, English is not a problem.
I can maybe just add to that something, because just the other day I was cleaning up my old notes, like I even had them from high school, and I had my English essays I found, and I was reading that, and I thought to myself, because in high school, I thought that I'm okay at English, I even got some I went to some national competitions, and they said that I'm okay, cool. But then I read those essays, and then I thought to myself, okay, I'm really much, much better now. Because I thought to myself, I was using so basic words and everything, and without even realizing, I think that I really got much, much better in English during this master's program, because I was forced to speak English all the time. I was forced to write reports all the time in English, and then when you try to use some more scientific language, so you try to, upgrade your vocabulary and things like that, and I think it's a nice side effect that you're not even realizing that it's happening, that you really get better at it and very confident, and switching to English is not a problem at all. So, yeah. Another question from the audience, maybe here?
If I understood correctly, two of the electives can be chosen from all of the classes, even from informatics.
In the second year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the second year. Yeah, you can pick anything. Mm-hmm.
Most of the students actually choose one model in the first year, and then take 2 classes from the other module that they wanted to take as elective courses. If that's the thing you were asking about. So.
Yeah, you can pick anything here, but yeah, I think people generally tend to just stick with some data science courses. But yeah. Any other questions here?
I have a question for
Yeah.
Eric. Since this is a fairly new program, will there be any changes this year? I believe it's ever evolving creature, so.
Called back for another performance. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So will there be any changes in this year execution of the program?
No, we are planning changes, but the only one that might be in effect for you enrolling this year is that you will have an additional elective course which we will pick every year. It might be a different topic, some state of the art, some very interesting, cool stuff. So you'll get to choose that one. Other than that, there should be no difference. There will be some more bigger changes in 2 years, 3 years, where we will restructure, for example, the popular principles of uncertainty course. Yeah, we're probably going to double it. But yeah, there'll be some small changes. We've identified some areas where we think we should give more to the students, like statistics and really in-depth elective courses. And we see that people like the project competition a lot. So what we are considering is actually that you can elect to have it 1 course worth or 2 courses worth. It seems that the module is going to be removed. That's the current plan if we're able to do it. But that's going to come into effect in 3 years' time, I think. So the only change that you can expect is that you might have an additional elective course. Okay, so if there are no other YouTube questions, I would like to thank everyone, especially the students who took the time out away from their usual activities of working on projects, and to the crew that enabled this, and also to the audience and viewers on YouTube. So hopefully all of you will enroll. If I'm a bit selfish, I hope twice as many enroll as we have spots, but I honestly hope that anyone interested in this that's willing to put in the work is accepted, and then we can do a lot of interesting things in the next 2 years. Okay, so thank you again. I'll wrap it up. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. And that's it for today. Thank you.